back, everyone, to another incredible, awesome episode of Chat with Dan. For today, we have none other than the incredible Jessica here. Jessica, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing incredible. I mean, what better way to have an epic start of the week? That's what someone has said, because you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think
Love it.
so.
Love it. So, for those who don't know how awesome and incredible is Jessica, please tell us, who is Jessica?
Well, thank you so much for that. I'm Jessica Danov. I'm an actress and writer based in Toronto, Canada. I work in film, TV, theater, and voice work. And yeah, I'm vegan and I have a couple cats.
There you go. There you have it. That's super cool. Now, tell me, where
Mhm.
does the journey begin? I mean, like, what triggered everything for you to start this passion through acting?
So there was always, I can remember loving it since I was a little kid. So there's like been little bits of it throughout my life since I was really little. The first thing I remember is doing like Christmas shows actually when I was a
Okay.
little kid. The first one I remember I was Angel Number One, which was really exciting because I actually had a line. I don't remember what the line was, but I was very happy about it. And then the second show I sang Here Comes Santa Claus. And so that instilled a love for it in me. And in middle school, I continued doing musicals with the school. They were original musicals, so a little cheesy, but super fun. And so once I got to high school, I started considering it seriously. I wasn't certain that I was going to pursue it. I was considering acting, writing, journalism. I had a little bit of interest in law. But ultimately, I decided to go to theater school, and rest is history.
There you go. I love it. And what were some of the challenges? So time went by, and like, what were some of those first, like those, again? So time went by, and so you were making your few steps here and there on your acting career. But tell me, like, what were some of those challenges?
When you're first starting out, you really don't know what to do. That was a big challenge. You thought, okay, I thought I'm going to go to school for this. I'm going to go to theater school because a lot of the great actors that I loved were theater trained and I wanted to be great. But they didn't really teach us much in the way of the business of the industry. And so kind of, I knew my craft, but I didn't quite know how to carve out a career for myself. And so that's been something that I've just learned as I've gone along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is one of the that is kind of a common challenge, right? For those new. I mean, once you are basically new, you don't know anything about either agents, bookings, how like the whole thing works. So I can understand the fact that it can be like a little bit overwhelming, and at the same time, you are basically learning by making mistakes. So
Exactly. Yeah.
absolutely, that's so cool. Now, focusing a little bit here on your acting career, tell me like what is your approach when you are in this process of creating a character, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I always start with the script. It's the most important part with what the writer's intentions were. I think something that instills or infuses it with a little bit of magic is your own intuitive response to the scene and to the script. That's kind of what fills in the blanks, I think. And that comes from our own life experience and how our point of views are. That sort of gives it a little extra something that makes it appealing. And for me, I guess a good starting point is always looking through the script and seeing what other characters say about my character and what I say about my character to build that out.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay. I like it. Now, before we continue, let me just tell you, I live with 3 dogs, so he tends to get noisy sometimes.
Oh, nice.
I mean, everyone who has either watch it or hear on the podcast, it's impossible not to hear my dogs barking in the background. I mean, it's impossible. But
Okay.
anyway, right. So getting back here now, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool the fact that you are able to. I mean, what I find pretty interesting is the fact that you are able to create basically a life, let's say, that basically is going to use your body to tell a story, and it's also pretty cool the fact that you get the chance to discover new things, right? I mean, from from superhero to teacher to cop to thief, I don't know, like so many variants you have, and I found it pretty cool because at the same time you kind of get like a little bit of the taste of that person's life. I mean, superhero, no, of course, but you know, cop or doctor or lawyer or something like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's funny because I was thinking back on what I wanted to be when I grew up. When I was a kid, I wanted to be everything. And acting is sort of a way to let you do that, right? To live
totally.
those dreams. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and the cool thing about acting as well is that, for example, if you're a lawyer or if you're working in this corporation, and if you fail in the film or in the, you know, if in the project they fire you, it's okay because it's not real. So, you know, I love it. Now, tell me, like, what has been some of the worst auditions you ever had?
Oh boy. You know what? I once had to audition a scene where my character was being attacked, except I had to audition this scene completely alone, which was very awkward and it didn't feel right. And I think I was still so new that I didn't know how to make that like seem realistic.
Okay.
Um, and grounded at the same time. So it was just a very strange experience for me.
Absolutely. And what about commercials? Like, what has been some of the weirdest stuff they have ever asked you to do for a commercial?
I mean, nothing really strange. There was one commercial where I was gluing something back together. I think it was a mug.
Okay.
But they were very particular about how they wanted me to be really happy while gluing the mug. It just seemed very strange. It was like, you know, big smiles, little Vanna White gluing the mug. But other than that, nothing really weird that I can think of.
I love it. I mean, because the reason why I ask that is because it gets my attention for the commercials. Like, I mean, I understand that they have to do it to promote, you know, the product, but I find super cool the reactions they do. You know, that, for example, as you mentioned, that they're gluing something and you need to be super excited about gluing. And I don't know, I mean, at least I don't get super excited when I need to glue something. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool, you know, like those reactions and everything. So I find that pretty cool.
Cool. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it's fun. Commercials are always really fun to do. A lot of the time, it's a great opportunity for improvising, which I.
Absolutely. Now, talking about getting back a little bit here on the auditions. Tell me, like, how you managed to overcome the so-called second thoughts. You know, so you finish audition, and then your mind starts to. You should have done this instead of that. Why you did this? You didn't. You know, like how you managed to get rid of those thoughts and continue with your day, basically.
I think a lot of that comes from experience, just having time in business and mindset work, and that saying that what is meant for you won't pass by you, right? And so absolutely. you do the best that you can. You come as prepared as you can for the audition, and then you let it go. You have fun, be in the moment, and for the most part, casting directors they're not judging us in the way that we can sometimes worry that they are. They'll remember like people who do something really dangerous in an audition. But if someone has an off day, they're not going to remember them. They understand that actors are humans. And so that was sort of just working through that with me, with following casting directors who actually relay that information. And like I said, the mindset work, just knowing like it's over, it's done, you let it go. I mean, there's been times, actually a couple times in my life, where I thought I completely bombed the audition. It was the worst, and then I booked the role. So so we don't know what they're thinking, how they're interpreting our character reads, and what they're looking for. So it's no use trying. Just have fun, do the best you can, and
there you go.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, life is so interesting that sometimes whenever you think that this isn't gonna happen, it ended up happening. And when you're like, I'm super excited that this is gonna happen, it turns out that it didn't happen. So I find that very, you know, like very interesting thing about life sometimes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, let's say that one day I call you and I tell you that I want to become an actor. Now, I don't have any experience at all. So based on what you know, what advice could you give to me, or to, you know, somebody else who is asking you the same question about, you know, throwing everything away and start from the bottom on this acting journey?
Yeah, I would say go to class. Class is so important, whether that's, and it looks different for everyone. Some people are going to go to theater school. Some people are just going to train at a local studio, like, but get in class and go see theater. I think it's so important to immerse yourself in that, and varied theater, like go see the big Mervis shows, but also go see indie theater, get a good range of work, and watch it with, you know, with an eye to what you think is good and why do you think it's good and what don't you like and why doesn't it work, rather than just watching it for enjoyment. I know we all love it, and of course you want to go to enjoy it, but you have to start asking these questions so you can understand what you want to bring as an actor.
Yeah, absolutely. That's true. I love it. And also, I mean, now that you mentioned theater, I mean, it's true that sometimes even like on, on public colleges, they will have like they will show, like a play every now and then, and I think that they're super cheap, and even sometimes they let you go for free. So I think
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So you can get your feet a little bit wet, and just to be
Yeah,
curious there.
absolutely. And then when you're ready, just start auditioning for student films, for indie theater, for as much as you can, just to
Yeah.
get the experience. And so you understand what it's like to really take on that work. And then ultimately, when you feel ready, that's when you start pursuing the professional side, your headshots, your agents. Yeah.
Yeah. And like how you handle, like the whole rejection, because I mean, since I started this platform, most of the times they will tell me like that one of the toughest things about acting is to handle, like the whole rejection, because I mean, let's be honest, nobody likes being rejected or to, or things like
Yeah.
that. So like how you manage those rejections, or for example that let's say you audition for a couple of months and you still have not no project for sure, like how you manage that, let's say, stress or that kind of feeling.
Yeah. I think the most important part is to just to let yourself feel those feelings.
Yeah.
We live in an age where I think a lot of people are trying to just be positive to the point that they're ignoring their emotions. And I understand positive thinking, and I am an optimist, and I think that's great. But I think we need to allow ourselves to process those emotions. I once got really close to a series regular role. I was auditioning for network execs and doing chemistry reads, and I didn't book it, and it was devastating at the time. And
Yeah.
I had a good couple of days where I was just so down. And ultimately, you have to know, like, give yourself a couple days, but then we move on and look forward to the next thing. Like, again, what's meant for me will not pass
Mm.
by me. That was not my role, and mine is coming. And it helps to have friends both in the industry and outside of the industry. Your industry friends understand what it's like,
Yeah.
and they can commiserate with you, and your non-industry friends can just lift you up and take you out and help you forget it and take your mind off of it. But yeah, ultimately I think let yourself feel the feelings, and then give yourself a deadline though before you move on and go on to the next thing.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Now, let's say here that one day Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, you name it, they call you and they tell you that they got this idea, in which goes that all of the characters you have played at the moment, they're gonna gather to celebrate your birthday. Tell me, what would be the name of that film?
Holy crap, we made it.
I like it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
And what would it be? Would it be like comedy, drama, dramedy, horror? Like, what would
I
it
think
be?
it would I think it would be a dark comedy, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And out of all of the characters you have played at the moment, which ones you treasure the most, let's say?
Um Oh, there's so many. I played a character called Natalie in the play Jenny's House of Joy, and it was a really challenging character. And I put a lot of thought and research and effort into that character. There was also a big shift for that character personally between the first and second act, and I didn't want it to ring false. I want it to be very honest without being over the top. So I was just super nervous, and I was really new, and I just thought, what a gift I've been given to have this role. So I worked really hard on it, and I tell people not to place too much stock in reviews, but early on in my career, it was great. I got great reviews for the role, and it felt nice to know that, like,
Yeah.
I'm on the right path. It feels great to be doing this, and people seem to be enjoying what I'm offering in my characters. So that one was a really great one.
I love it. Okay. And from all of the characters you have played at the moment, if you had to choose one to go out, have some drinks, have some fun, which character would you take along with you so you can have this fun?
Um, I think the my bad vegan character. I think that one was super fun. She's a really fun character that is really strong, really individual, but also super encouraging to others. And so I think that would be a great combo.
Yeah, okay, I'll take it. What about if you had to describe your whole career, but on a drink? Which one would you pick? I mean, you can choose one, that it's known, that it's made, or you can create yours right now on the spot. So, I mean,
Wow.
up to you.
Okay. I think I would say tequila sunrise. It's sweet.
Mm,
It can have a bit of a bite, but
yeah,
ultimately it's really beautiful.
totally. Yeah, and if you drink too many of them, you're gonna have a lot of fun. So
That's true.
I love it. Okay, but how would you call your drink? So we know that it's a tequila sunrise, but let's say I go to a bar and I check the drinks and I see this drink with this cool name, and basically once I read the description, it says that it's basically this is basically your career. Now this is gonna sound bad, but like let's say that I want to taste your career here. So how would you call it?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. God, clearly I should never name drinks. I guess sweet bite.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Sounds fun. And like my last question here is like, what motivates you? We all have those days that basically we want to quit. We think that it's been a waste of time, that we're not good enough. Then we start to compare ourselves, and once we realize it's been already 3-4 hours and we feel miserable. So my question here is, what pushes you back again on this track, on this path that you have built for so many years now?
I think that for me, I mean, it's always going back to why I wanted to do this in the first place. And for me, a lot of that has to do with connection with others and self-discovery, learning more about myself with each role that I take on. But it's also about inspiration and helping. And I feel like each role offers the opportunity to create change. For me, I've always strongly believed in activism through art, from everything from theater to film to songs to music. I remember when I was a little kid, I first heard the song "The Hurricane" by Bob Dylan, and I was always a lyric person. I always listened to the lyrics, and it just sounded really real. I remember, I think I was 11, and I asked my dad, I was like, "Is this a true story?" And he said, "Yeah, this boxer went to jail for 20 years for something that he didn't do." And I was so devastated, but it opened my eyes to something, to like a new reality, to something else in the world. And fun fact, I actually got to meet Mr. Reuben Carter when I was 13. Yeah, when I was 13, he came to speak at the local school, and I got to meet him after, and I was so impressed by his like fortitude and spirit. He's just, he was an incredible man, and I was really fortunate to have had that opportunity. But for me, that sort of lit something in me for the activism through art. And I've had the opportunity to do that with the short film Pick, which is available to screen on CBC Gem if anyone is interested. It's a great film. And even for things that aren't activism, something like, say, a sitcom can really bring some levity to someone's life or day if they're having a really hard time. And I just think that it makes a difference, whether on a small scale or a large scale. And I try to remind myself of that.
There you go. I love it. And basically that's how the cookie crumbles. That's pretty cool. And also the fact that you love it, I mean, we all know that it sounds super cliche, right? That do what makes you happy and everything. But we all know that it's a pain, because sometimes it will take years for you to discover, or even like your whole lifetime for you to finally discover at the end. I should have like chose this path, but the fact that you found it since years ago and you are working on it, that's pretty cool. And also the fact that you have that you managed to overcome those, like those dark moments, let's say, in which you are not sure if you should continue or not, which we all have them, but the fact that you keep pushing on it, that's pretty cool. And it's also kind of showing everyone here that dreams, besides the dreams can come true, that everything is possible if you are stick with it, if you're basically hang to it and just keep moving forward. So
It's true. It's so true. I actually read something today where someone interviewed A-list celebrities and they asked, what they think made the difference in their career. And I think the majority of them just said that they stuck with it. That was, yeah. And so, yeah, for all those folks that are in those dark moments, just hang in there. Your part is coming. Yeah.
There you go. I mean, as I was saying here, I love what you do, Jessica. It's super it's super badass, basically, and I can't wait of more of your incredible work in the future. And who knows, maybe at some point everybody's gonna know about you, because as I said, it is super cool, but also you're doing it because you love it. And I do believe that good things happen to those who are honest, to those who are honest honest in what they do. And the fact that you're doing it, it's incredible. And what else can I say? It's badass.
Thank you.
That's absolutely awesome. Absolutely. And I also want to thank those who watch this video. Thank you so much. If you're listening to on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, well, make sure to go follow Jessica like right now. The video is over, so I'm gonna leave in the description below in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube her link to her Instagram, so you can follow her. Let's make her viral. Come on, I mean, hashtag Team Jessica, because she's amazing. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this incredible badass actress that I'm speaking right now. And again, thank you so much, Jessica. Have an incredible rest of the week. Keep killing it, keeping awesome, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great one.
Yep.
Bye.